I can attest to the statement before about the downgrading of the standards if the federal government takes over. I come from the rail industry, and when the federal government took over the national standards, rather than using the New South Wales standards, which were the highest in the country, they went for the South Australian ones, which were the lowest in the country. As far as the downgrading of TAFE and the education system is concerned, with the rush to dumb down the population with these second-grade dodgy institutions that spring up all over the place, does the panel believe that this is a deliberate policy to dumb the country population down and to allow large industries to import whole labour forces from overseas via the guise of FTAs?
There is no doubt that one element of what's happening here is the desire to take education away from working class Australians. TAFE is a remarkable institution in that it's the whole conception was that every Australian who didn't want to go to university or for whom university was not appropriate would have access to high quality post-school education. But that, of course, creates informed, literate, critical citizens who are able to engage in the workplace not just to do things, but to think about things and to question, why are we doing this? What are the consequences of us doing this? In the Silicon Revolution, I suspect that there's a sense that we don't need workers like that anymore. I think we want workers who are compliant. And I think what's going on here, part of what's going on here is a desire to discipline the workforce. It's not just the Australian Education Union, New South Wales Teachers Federation that's being busted by these reforms. It's also every other union that's at risk. Because part of education is understanding that you're part of a workforce and that you have common goals and that you can access the whole idea of collective activity. That's part of what's being taken away here. Not that TAFE teachers would ever sit down and preach unionism, but they equip students to reach their own conclusions about joining a union, about being critical, innovative workers. I'll finish on one point. We have two industrial futures ahead of us. One is as a nice place to set up a factory with foreign workers in it. The other is as an innovative, exciting, leading-edge manufacturer and supplier of services in the new technologies. The latter can only be done not with a skilled workforce, but with an educated workforce, a workforce that has an understanding of what it's doing, a workforce that self-consciously knows about its own needs to continue to re-skill and re-educate itself. TAFE does that brilliantly. Private providers will never do that because it's too expensive. In a competitive market, you hollow out that capacity.
Yes, keep them busy, don't let them think, and sooner or later we have George Orwell.